So now we're gonna see how the app manage the offline issues. So basically it has three templates: the home, the transactions. Currently there's not any transaction, and the profile. Here in profile you can add both cars and payment method online. But when you go offline, the maps view is changed for this text view, who tells the user that doesn't have internet connection. Here you can see a notification who tells the user that the transactions couldn't be shown. And in profile, when you try to add cars or payment methods, the app shows that there was a failed connection, so that action is not possible at that moment.
This is the transactions, which tries to fetch the transaction list for the current user from the server, but if the server isn't available or the device is offline, it resorts to the room database that stores the latest request. If you can see here, the latest transaction is Saturday, April 18 at 21:18. He will go create one new transaction through Postman. And if we update this, you can see that now it's 10:20, indicating that it fetched the transaction from the server. Now, if we go to airplane mode to simulate a scenario where there's no connectivity, and we close the application, when we open the transactions again, you'll see that there's an error message: can't fetch transactions because there is no internet connectivity, but we still have our list of transactions that we had fetched earlier from the server. If we take a look at the code, we can see this is the transaction fragment, which contains the list of transactions. We can see that first the recycler view receives the transaction list from the repository. This one is the one stored in the room database. But then we fetch the transactions. Fetch the transactions performs a body request. We can see method get, the URL, which is the base URL / transactions. Then we parse the JSON response, and we call the transaction view model with the sync local method. I'll show you how this works later. On the other hand, if there's an error and the error is of no connection error, we indicate that the transactions couldn't be fetched because there is not any internet connection. The other possible error is the out failure error, which in the future we'll handle by redirecting to the login page. So the sync local method in the transaction view model calls the repository sync local and then updates the transactions, which comes from the room database. In the repository, the sync local method deletes all cached transactions in the room database and then inserts these transactions. If you remember, these transactions come directly from the server. So we delete all the transactions, insert the transactions we just obtained, and then we update the recycler view with these new room database contents.
Hi, I'm gonna show you the offline functionality for the app. I'm from group 6, and this is basically the information of the user, the parkings, and the transactions, like the usual app that we had before. And all of this is going to the server for the information. So I'm gonna make a request to create a new transaction, and I'm gonna refresh the transactions page, and as you can see, it created another one, this last one, and we're just gonna go into airplane mode. and the application is just working like as expected. The information is there, no problem. And even if we close the app, we open it again, and as you can see, all the information is still there. The transactions, the same transactions, and the user information. And we also have like the version the user that there is no connectivity, and so that he expects that like the information is not as up to date as it could be. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's open up again and as you can see, it's just again without the HTTP connection, without the offline um, icon, and like it works as expected. It doesn't crash or anything.